to our local non-league. And of course, joining me as normal on a Sunday evening is, of course, Andy, manager of Enfield Town. And of course, Andy, just to say a little bit off air, it's been a bit of a tough month since the last time we spoke, and but back on the bike yesterday.
Yeah, very difficult February for us, Dave. Yeah, contrast that to January where we were. I was complaining about the amount of games we had, and I thought we'd struggle to get through January unscathed, but that turned out to be absolutely fine. And then February's been very, very difficult. Yeah, we haven't covered ourselves in any glory at all. We started with a defeat at home to Stortford, which we didn't deserve anything from, and we compounded it with an awful display at Wingate. And then last weekend we struggled with we had a game called off in between. We struggled last weekend at Worthing. Made some mistakes at key moments, and 3 defeats. And we hadn't had a run in the season where we hadn't lost sort of 2 games back to back. So yes, it comes a bit of a shock, Dave. We have to get back to some hard work again, and thankfully March has started in better fashion.
And of course, then as well, you play Thurrock, and of course, the next one up for you is Hornchurch away, which again, going up against the FA Trophy holders is not an easy game to be coming into.
No, not the form they're in either. I think we worked out since we beat them in November. I don't think they've lost a game since then. They had a remarkable run to get into the top 5. So yeah, we know it's going to be a difficult one over there, but we're ready for it. I say with a lot of hard work gone in, a lot of soul searching, an analysis into why we've kind of capitulated in the 3 games. But good news, Dave. We're still in a great position, and we showed signs again yesterday. Historic. They're never too bad themselves. People will say, well, the second bottom, Andy, and they're losing game, but they've actually been putting up a real good fight if you look at their recent games. So it wasn't an easy afternoon. But we're Hornchurch will be a different challenge altogether. I think it'll be a clash of probably similar styles and formations, but we'll see when we get there. Yeah, we'll see.
And I suppose looking at it, have you sort of put your finger on why that sort of run happened, and is it to the extent of like maybe you and Mario and the rest of the team sort of look at it and think, well, look, we need to do this differently this time because of because of we did it that way and that happened. Have you managed to be able to put a finger on it why it went a little bit sticky in that period?
I can't. Probably not the place to be revealing all the things that excuse me, that have gone wrong and what we've done to put them right. But certainly issues of concentration, maybe a little bit of fatigue crept in after January. Despite getting a bit of a breather, we were well beaten by Stortford. They contained us really well, but we gave the ball away far more often and in key areas that we haven't been doing. We then did exactly the same at Wingate. They caught us cold. I probably picked 2 or 3 players who've been playing every single minute of every game, and possibly it was a time for a change and just to sort of liven us up a little bit. And we just made we've had some errors, Dave. In the Wingate game, a couple of horrible mistakes that gave them a couple of goals. The Worthing game last week, again, a concentration issue early on. Prepared really well for the game and thought we'd had every base covered, but sometimes, Dave, you can't account for that. So yeah, we've been looking at what we haven't done well, and including the way we set up, and gone back to a little bit of the sort of shape that we had earlier in the season. So yeah, we think we know why, and hopefully yesterday proved it. We could have won by more yesterday, but were pretty controlled throughout the game. Again, a couple of errors that might have given a better side a chance to score against us. But, Dave, there isn't a team in the league that isn't making mistakes, especially at this time of the season. Teams will have their good runs, but that's why we're all at this level. There's going to be errors, isn't there? And so I think we've got through it, Dave. I feel like we have, but we've certainly got a tough one next weekend to contend with.
I suppose and again, I'll say this on paper because I know you won't say it, but on paper, you look at the result, your fixtures after that, and they're a lot kinder than what you've just come through. Maybe if that's the best way to put it. In the likes of Casuals, Leatherhead, Mersham, Horsham, Brightlingsea, Cray, Potters Bar, and Bognor. So there's a few there that I'm not going to say, because as you said before, there's a lot of teams in there and everybody's beating each other, but should we say there are a lot better fixtures than playing the likes of Lewis, Worthing, Hornchurch, and so on, in Bishop Stortford in quick succession. So
yeah. No, well, I mean, I appreciate the use of your language, Dave, to say that. But don't forget, those teams may well be, currently in the bottom half of the table, but like Historic yesterday, they're all fighting for their lives generally. The ones we run into, whether it's Leatherhead, Merstham, we've got to play Potters Bar yet, we've got to play Cray again. They're all scrapping their lives. Nobody wants to go drop out of this division, So they're no point looking at their league position. They've all got something to play for. You might catch the odd team in there that's marooned in mid-table, can't go up, can't go down. You might catch them, on a day when perhaps their motivations have gone. But I think that will be right towards the end of the season. I think the good news for us, Dave, is our record against the teams outside the top six has been nothing short of fantastic. Our problem is our record against the teams in the top 5 or 6 has been very, very poor, And if we're serious about finishing in the top 5, then we've got to continue to do what we do, as our record suggests, when we play the teams in outside the top 6. And we've also got to start working and thinking, if we are in the playoffs, which is what we want to be, where we want to be, then we've got to find a way of playing against the sides around us, because that's it. We haven't been successful when we've played them. So we've got a 2-pronged challenge, really, Dave. But as you say, all on paper, and it'll all be on the day as it was yesterday. Teams are changing, whether they've changed management or they're bringing players in, whatever it is. You look at Potters Bar, for example, complete turnaround at that club, with new manager and new players. So can't really judge too much on league positions, Dave. And everybody will be gunning for us. So everybody wants to beat a side who's up there, don't they? But we just got to focus. Sorry, Dave, cliche time, but it is game by game, and making sure we know what we're going into, and make sure we're prepared for every eventuality, and we just keep taking every point that comes our way, because there's no science to finding out what it'll need to get in the playoffs, but you can probably have a stab at it. But as you say, so many still twists and turns. There were yesterday, teams dropping points you didn't expect, and there's teams got to run into each other. And that's the good news for us when we play Hornchurch next week. That's it, as you say, for playing the sides around us. So it'll be in our hands to go and rack up some more points and get ourselves in the playoffs.
And of course, coming up very shortly as well is non-league transfer deadline day. I mean, any sort of mindset, has your mindset changed about how many might need or how many won't need, shall we say, over the last few weeks?
Well, I think last time we spoke, Dave, the sort of break in games has given us a chance to get everybody back fit. So the squad's back near enough. I think pretty much yesterday we have almost everybody to pick from. So there's still one position that I think, if we could if we could do some business, then we would. But it's late in the day. It'd have to be somebody that I think, Dave, is known to us and that we can trust. I wouldn't be taking any gambles at this stage of the season. But there's probably one area that we could strengthen, given what's been going on lately. So yeah, but I'm not in a we're not in a rush, Dave. It's it's a couple of weeks away yet, I think, isn't it, the deadline? So we'll see what transpires, and hopefully nobody leaves us. That's the other thing. We're pretty happy with very happy with what we've got. Hopefully nobody is thinking of heading for the exit door. I think with where we are and what we've got at stake, I think everybody wants to. Players all want to give it a real go. Work too hard and too long to sort of quit on it now.
And that was what I was going to say. In a position like yourselves are, and the likes of Lewis and Hornchurch, Folkestone, Bishop Stortford, surely players that are playing for those sides, including your own at the moment. Why would you be looking to go somewhere else? Because you've got that great opportunity of possibly playing National League South next season. Do you know what I mean? So it's a big gamble, isn't it? If they end up deciding to sort of say, well, look, I might not be playing as much as I want to play, and I'm we're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. It would be. And I genuinely don't think we've got a pretty loyal group. Quite a tight, very tight group as well. I don't think anybody would be walking away from us, but there's always that risk. You just don't know, do you? You don't know who might be looking for your players, who might be after someone in a specific position. So there's always that little bit of a risk, but I think we'd be okay there. I absolutely agree with you that why would you want to leave and walk out on something that you've worked all year for? But hopefully not to no activity between now and I think is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
23rd, somewhere around that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, keeping it going to you training tomorrow night, or are you going to try and sneak off down to Potter's Bar tomorrow night to see Potter's Bar and Hornchurch, or
Tuesday? Tuesday, you mean, Dave? Tuesday night?
Tuesday, sorry, Tuesday, sorry.
Yeah, Tuesday. I'm sure one of us will take a look. We'll go over and have a look at Hornchurch. Yeah, just to I'm sure we will, just to satisfy ourselves of what we think. Yeah, I'm sure we will, and we'll also train as well. It's quite enjoyable, to be able to get 2 good sessions in. There's a lot of work you can get done. So, but yeah, for sure we'll be watching opposition here on in. Well, we do anyway, Dave. Probably with a keener eye than perhaps before.
And of course, then I'm just looking. You're saying about people playing each other. I mean, I've just flicked through a few, and even next Tuesday you've got Bishop Stortford and Worthing. You've got Potter's Bar. The improving Potter's Bar. They've got Margate with a bit of a long trip down to Potter's Bar as well. So there's some big games where everybody seems to be all of a sudden, even on the 19th, where Folkestone have got Chesson, Lewis have got Bishop Stortford. So there's all of a sudden there's a few few games where everybody seems to be in and around you that are playing each other.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think we've you and I have spoken for many a month now, and I've been saying that all the time. And I'm the team's just outside the top 5, possibly still have a chance. They'll have to be winning most of the games, I think, if you're Margate or Cheshunt or Kingstonian or Carshalton. I think you'll have to be going on a heck of a run to close the gap. But it's great. So they've all got something to play for, and all very very experienced managers around those clubs who make sure that the teams are set up to win and be competitive right to the last kick. So yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns, Dave. Every Tuesday or every Saturday brings something different. Just got to make sure we're not one of the surprises. We've had enough surprises in the last 2 or 3 weeks to last us the season.
So, I mean, would you look at this table then and say, Worthing are home and hosed? I mean, now 10 points clear at the top, game in hand over Bishop Stortford. And if so, if you looking at, say, the 4 teams that are in that playoff positions at the minute, in Bishop Stortford, Folkestone, yourselves, and Hornchurch. How much further after that, probably include Lewis in that hunt? How much further down do you go from Lewis, that you possibly think they're still maybe in it?
Well, I think in answer to your first question, Worthing are the best team in the league, in my view. Probably most of the teams hold that view as well, especially at home. To have a 10-point swing, they're going to be losing 3 or 4 games, and I just can't see that happening, irrespective of who they've got to play. It could, of course, but I just can't see that happening. And as I've just said, Dave, I think outside the top 5, then clearly Lewis are still in it. But I think if you're Margate and Kingstonian, Carshalton, am I right? And Cheshunt, I know Cheshunt have got some games in hand. I think you've got to go and they've got to be going and winning pretty much all their games to close the gap, I think, anyway. And they're all capable of it, no doubt about that. I've been mightily impressed with in the way Margate have been performing lately. Kingstonian have sort of gone off the rails a little bit in the last 3 or 4 weeks, but Carshalton always picking up, great results. I saw that Harry Ottaway, who'd left to go to Dorking, I think he was back there yesterday. Who's the striker, which will give them a lift. And Cheshunt with Craig, they're a resilient, strong outfit. They can go and get results anywhere. But I think with the gap, they'll probably have to be winning near enough all of the games, won't they? And there'll have to be some slippage above them. Teams will have to slip above them. But anything can happen, Dave. 9 games left, whatever, 10 games.
So how much would you have enjoyed playing in front of 2,347 at the weekend?
I saw that. Well, when we went to Worthing last weekend, there was 1,700, was there 1,800 there? So, you love those. Love those kind of atmospheres. It was great at Worthing. Well, obviously not the outcome, but the environment was, the atmosphere. We took a fair few as well, but that's remarkable yesterday, isn't it? That's a fantastic kick. I mean, they're almost local rivals, aren't they? I think there's not much distance between Worthing and Lewis, is there? And I think you'll see some big crowds. I mean, our crowds have been good. We're nearly 500 yesterday, and I think you'll see some decent crowds now with these big games. So, yeah.
And the closer you get to the playoffs and semi-finals and stuff like that, then that's when the crowds do start going through the roof. But I think the weekend, I suppose, one of the biggest surprises, at the weekend was that game was even on, because because it was at Lewis as well, which is not normally a ground that likes a bit of water, is it? So I was quite surprised to see that game even be on, to be honest with you. But the pitch,
I was surprised to see how many games were off in the level below. There was a lot of matches off with waterlogged pitches, wasn't I? just looked at the non-league paper before we spoke, and we were. I think had it rained yesterday, we'd have been touch and go as well. The ground won't take much more, and if your pitches, I know you had a program on it, didn't you, on Monday? If your pitch hasn't been looked after, I mean, ours has, but even then, it's difficult. The ground staff just can't get on it to do any work, and you kind of, you're in the lap of the gods, really, aren't you, with the weather? But
it's going to be an interesting running, and we do. I mean, what you said squad wise, though, you saying that you're almost 100% now, fitness wise.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, got one probably one unavailable with other issues, but generally, we had Percy suspended for a game yesterday, PK. But generally, we are pretty much at full strength. Injuries have recovered, which is great news. So just make sure we train at the right level as well. Try and keep the players lively and fresh, ready for Saturday. So we get to Easter, and we've got a couple of games close together. But that will test the squad. But we're in good health, Dave, at the moment. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to the running.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, mate, massive thank you for joining us again tonight, and wish you all the very, very best at the weekend. And hopefully, if we speak again next weekend, which hopefully we will, and we'll be talking about another victory against the trophy holders.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll speak either way, Dave. I'm sure. But, yeah, yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to get mad to call anything the way it is. I think there's so many evenly matched teams, but we just got to make sure we go and do the job and we be disciplined. We've had a spell, part of what you said earlier, where we've been leaking goals far too early in games. I think concentration issues, but I think we're through that. So yeah, let's hope it's a good week. And
Yep.
we'll speak again next week.
Magic. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Dave.
Bye.
Bye.